beautiful souls. So welcome back to another episode of Wholistic Conversations. I'm your host, Brittany, and today I have a guest on that will teach you all about becoming vegan. And guess what? She's a vegan and becoming the new winner of the bodybuilding competition she's going to be in. So help me in welcoming Afya.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on. And I'm so thankful that, you had the opportunity to come onto the platform and share your story, because I believe there are going to be so many people that connect deeply with your story and who you are. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
And before we started the podcast, we were talking about where we're from.
Yes.
And we're both from the Midwest.
Yes.
So we understand the code better than anyone.
Do we? Minnesota is a whole nother level of cold.
Yes.
Which is why I don't live there anymore. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what made you come to Atlanta?
I lived in New York, actually. I was in New York for 10 years before we moved here. I moved here with my family because we had our son. He was 3 at that time. I've been in Atlanta for 20 years. And, New York had just changed, and it was time to move. And we had a lot of thoughts. Was it Cali? Is it Austin? Is it here? And we chose Atlanta because it was closer to my children's father's family at that time. So, and it was the South, because I didn't want to live anywhere else cold. I was like, I had Minnesota, then I had New York. I was like, I'm done with the cold. I need somewhere warm.
And in Atlanta, when you go outside during their winter days and they shut the city down, being from the Midwest, you're thinking, wait, why are they shutting the city down right now?
For a little dust.
For a little dust on the ground, But as when I was here, though, I realized, I'm like, okay, although there's not a lot of snow on the ground, it's the dry ice.
Yeah.
Right? It's the black ice.
The black ice. And they're just not prepared.
Yes.
In Minnesota, they're prepared for those little small things. That's not even a big deal.
Right. We got the salt trucks.
The salt trucks.
Yes.
Yes.
And the hills.
Yes.
The Midwest is kind of flat. Atlanta, we had a lot of hills. So going down the hill, I think there was a time when I was Ubering and the city was shut down. So Uber is at an all-time high. It's like, get in and make some money because nobody is driving.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, this is nothing, right? Until I got stuck. And I was like, okay, let me once that, you slip on that black ice and you get stuck, you think, okay, let me go home. Because, it's set in on me.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to dive into your journey of you becoming vegan.
Yes.
So tell me about your childhood. What was the earliest memory that you had of your childhood?
The earliest memory is family. I grew up with my mom and her side of the family, and they were very much into holidays. And like my uncle, he would dress up as the Easter Bunny, as Santa Claus. My grandmother would make gumbo and peach cobbler and fresh bread, and she's Creole, so we have coffee at a very young age. So family gatherings, because my family is very close. And so those are some of my best memories from childhood.
Yeah. And as a vegan, those memories back then were always centered around food.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So going back, did you ever have a time where you're like, I don't want to participate in any of this because I don't eat the food? Or were you more accepting of, okay, the family is gathering and let me just go be with my family? Because I know for me, I was more of the family gatherer. Like, I just want to be around family. I don't care about the food. I don't have to eat during this day, but I enjoyed the family atmosphere during the holidays.
Yeah, well, because I was who I was a rebel and a revolutionary at a very young age. I would go, but always have something to say. I'm not eating that. No, I'm not doing this, and this is why, and this is just a capitalist holiday. This was me in my youth, being very rebellious and judgmental. When you become a vegan and vegetarian at first, you're pretty judgmental. But this was, 34 years ago. I've been plant-based 34 years, vegan for 28 of those years. So that was, before there was internet and, cell phones and all of that. So that was a very long time ago. So yeah, I would go, but I would definitely be on my soapbox
Right.
at the same time. Yeah.
And I'm sure now those same family members you were probably, talking to during those family events might come to you for advice now.
Yes, all the
Yes.
time. But so I used to be really sick as a kid. Asthma, allergies, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic dehydration, migraines. And so I changed my diet at 15 because my mom found an allergy specialist who said it might be the foods that I was eating that was causing all my health issues, which was the first time I related food and health together. And then, like I said, it was before internet and all of that, but we had hip hop. And so KRS-One had a song out called Beef about being a vegetarian and the food industry. So I was just like, I'm a vegetarian now. And but I didn't really know what I was doing. I did the best that I could. We had like Vegetarian Times magazine and that's it. And so I think that in my healing journey and my family seeing that changing my diet and my lifestyle helped me to be better because I used to be so sick and on so much medication. And now they're asking me for everything all the time. Right. And even my mom. So my mom has MS and she's had it for about 25 years. And there was a time when, when she first got diagnosed, she did all the medication and everything, and that made it worse. She was on steroids. So steroids, if those who don't know, or those who do know, it makes you gain weight. So she gained a lot of weight. Her speech was starting to slur. She had to walk with a cane. She was almost in a wheelchair. And so this was the first 2 years of her diagnosis. And then at that point, I was like, you know what, Mom, there has to be something better we can do, And so I took her off all her medication. I put her on a raw food, plant-based diet, and within 30 days, within 30 days, her health improved 90%. And that was over 25 years ago. And so if you have MS and you go down the normal Western medicine program, you would either, at this point, be deceased, or you would definitely be in a wheelchair and no ability to feed yourself or talk. So she lives by herself. She is in assisted living because you know how elders are. They're going to do what they want to do. Right. So, but she is way better than she would have been if we would have just went the regular way. So.
Wow. And you were talking about food and the allergies. Yes. And, you growing up as a child. I have a friend, Tierra Green. Sorry, I'm shouting you out here, but she called me one time and she was telling me about her son always being sick, taking him to the doctor, pulling him out of school. Allergies, congestion. And she was like, Brittany, can you send me something that can help him? So I'm like, the supplements will work. The sea moss can help, yes. But ultimately, it come down to the diet. Yeah. Every single time. Yeah. And it's hard to change your lifestyle, especially, her being, 27. She's been doing the same thing for years and never, so anything new is hard. Yeah. So what's one piece of advice you'll give her?
I would say take out or reduce the processed food. Even when people ask me, well, how do I start a vegan diet? Before I even say take meat out, I say processed food. So that's candy, soda, junk food, fast food, highly processed, colored, blue and all that, like blue number 40, red, lake number 40, all that stuff. Take all of that out. Because that's going to really have an effect on your digestive system, right? And so your intestines, according to traditional Chinese medicine, your intestines and your lungs are connected. Right? So if your intestines are full of junk, it's going to cause mucus in your body, and that's going to cause congestion in your body, right? So that's where a lot of times people get congestion. It's really due to what you're eating. So I would say take out processed food. So even with my youngest son, I have two. I have a 23-year-old and a 9-year-old. The 9-year-old, he might have been maybe 4, and he was always constipated. Like sitting on the toilet crying, constipated. And I was like, what is going on? Realized he was eating too much processed food. And it was still organic crackers, organic graham crackers, organic cereal, organic bread. Everything was still organic, but it was processed, right? And processed foods have no water in them. So anything that you eat with no water, your body's going to have to utilize the water that it has to try to digest it. If you don't have enough water, you're going to get constipated. And if it sits there, that's going to cause congestion and mucus. So I would say all the kid foods, right, that they have, you got to take that out.
Yeah.
Take that out first. I would rather you have chicken and eggs and fish, organic chicken, organic eggs, wild fish, than Doritos, you know what I'm saying, and Takis or whatever junk food. I would rather that because it's whole food as opposed to all this ultra processed food. And your body is going to utilize that food better as well.
Exactly. And it's easier to replace those processed food with fruit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And sometimes your kid's going to say they don't want the fruit, but have them take their first bite and then they're sold, you know?
Yeah.
Even if they don't eat the whole peach or apple, the goal is for them to just take a bite.
Yeah.
You take a bite, they're at least going to take a couple bites.
Yeah. And really, it's really whatever you bring into the house. Mm-hmm. Right? So I'm not buying a box of crackers. I don't even buy crackers anymore. I don't buy a box of cookies. I don't buy boxes of things.
Right.
And so it's really what you have in your house. I have fruit is the main snack in my house. I will buy him chips. We do ice cream, like the vegan ice cream, but I only buy that in the summertime. I'm very seasonal. I buy things very seasonally. And I'll do fruit bars, like the 100% fruit bars, not the fruit snacks that are not really fruit and just colored sugar. Or then I'll make him trail mix. I do homemade trail mix with pumpkin seeds, raisins, and then they have these allergy-friendly chocolate chips, mini chocolate chips. So I'll do that for him. Or I'll bake. I bake things for him, bars, muffins, things like that. But I usually only bake in the wintertime. Bake in the summer. So, yeah.
And baking is one of those things I recommend every parent to do. Yeah. It's really easy. You put everything in one bowl and then you pop it in the oven, right? I feel like that's the easiest thing to do because one of my go-tos for my daughters is making blueberry muffins. Yeah. Okay, it's the easiest thing to do. We make the blueberry muffins, and I don't care after they're done if the girls want 5 muffins each.
Yeah.
I am okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I know every ingredient that is in the muffin.
Yeah.
So I feel good giving it to them. Eat as many as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's interesting that you said the gut and the intestines and the lungs are connected.
Yes.
And I was watching something on the Gaia Network, and they showed the picture of the intestines and the brain.
Yes.
And when I tell you, I paused and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're literally one and the same.
They are. And they speak to each other.
They look exactly alike. Just one is a little bit more compact, one is a little bit more stretched out.
Yes.
And I'm like, I think this go over people's head when they say the brain is the second gut. No, the
gut is a second brain. Yes. Yes.
But really, they're one and the same. They're on equal playing fields.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. In Western medicine, we have a tendency to separate everything. Everything is separate, right? Your intestines are this, your organs are all separate, but they're not, right? Everything is connected in some type of way. And that's why I love traditional Chinese medicine, because it shows the connection of different things in your body. But yeah, and that's why the gut health is becoming so popular in Western medicine, because they're seeing the reality of how what you eat and what's going on in your gut affects your moods, depression, brain fog, all of these, your enjoyment, your joy, right? You feel like, dang, I ate some junk food today and now I feel upset. Right?
Yeah.
That's because of what you're eating, and all of everything you eat is going to have some type of effect on your body. The food that you eat becomes your blood, becomes your cells. It becomes you, right? The food that you eat becomes you.
Wow. That's really good.
It's breaking down to become you, right? So that's why it's important what we're putting into our body.
Right, because that's why they say kimchi or anything fermented is really good for the gut, because it's creating good bugs.
Yes. Yes.
So these bugs are us. We are bugs.
Yeah. So, our body has bacteria, in it, right? And there's more bacteria on the planet than anything else.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but our body's always trying to be in a homeostasis or a place of balance. Right. And so your gut bacteria, or microbiome, as they call it in science, can become altered based off what you're eating. So fermented foods have the healthy bacteria like probiotics, lactobacillus, those things that you hear that are, popular these days. But fermented foods is ancient science. Been that all cultures around the world eat some type of fermented food.
Yes.
Not so much in the United States though, right? But we are the worst. We're like number 63 in health in the world. But we spend the most in the world on healthcare. So that comes down to the diet and the lifestyles that we're living, right?
Yes.
So, but yeah, your body is always in a state of trying to be in homeostasis. So fermented foods help to feed the healthy bacteria, which helps to help you digest food better, helps your skin, helps your health overall. Things that throw off your microbiome are things like foods that have active yeast, right? So I can't eat breads, donuts, pizza, cinnamon rolls, things with active yeast. That's going to throw off your bacteria. And that's why a lot of women get yeast infections and they don't know it, right? And sugar also.
Yeah.
Any type of sugar, not fruit, but like processed sugar, white sugar, raw sugar. No, all that will throw your body off.
Yeah. I do believe more people should incorporate fermented foods in their diet to get the good bacteria, to have the good bugs in your system. And we literally, like you say, become the bugs.
Yeah.
And the bugs can turn into parasites.
Yes.
And I seen my daughter act. I seen how she act when she had a parasite in her. Totally different person.
Yeah.
She'll give you this look. And her dad was like, uh-oh. But it was something in her.
Yeah.
And the parasites literally do control how you behave, how you act, how you feel. And I think we have to look at that from a different perspective of what is controlling us, because we're not controlling ourselves.
Exactly.
So I think it's really important, you all, to make sure you're watching and you're being careful about what you put in your body, and to make sure you cleanse. I take the girls to an alternative medicine doctor where she do what is it called? She can read your bioenergy field, and put the dots on it, and read everything.
Okay. Yes.
And I think, hold on, where was I going with this? I was like, let me try to play this off real quick. Okay. Yeah. But basically, I take the girls there, and she was telling me to cleanse every quarter, really every season change.
Yeah.
Because the way we can attract parasites are from, breathing in the air, sleeping on pillows, by touching something. And it can also go through the skin. So it's not even about what you're consuming.
Yeah.
It's just what's in your environment.
Yes.
So making sure you cleanse at least 4 times a year to get rid of any parasites that you might have. So are you into detoxing or cleansing?
Yes, I actually have an ebook called The 5 Season Detox, and I sell detox teas. And 5 seasons because it's based off traditional Chinese medicine. The fifth season is late summer. So I do a detox with every season. And within that, I'm switching my foods up, right? Because the foods that are in season have the nutrients that you need for that time of year for your immune system, right? So we live in the United States. You can get food any time of the year, regardless if it's in season or not, right? Because you can get watermelons in the wintertime, but they're not in season, right? And so why is that important? So right now we're in the summer. What's in season is watermelon, cucumbers, peaches, plums, things with a high water content. So that helps to keep you cool.
Yeah.
Right? In the wintertime, what's in season? Citrus fruits. So like grapefruits, lemons, oranges, those foods are high in vitamin C. So they help your immune system fight off things like the cold and the flu, right? So that's why it's very important to eat the seasons. Then you're rotating your food, so you're increasing your body's nutrients, because each food has a different type of nutrient. And so if you do a cleanse, at least with my cleanse, each season we are cleansing 2 organs with every season. And so if you do the entire year, you will have cleansed and nourished all of your major organs by the end of the year. Plus rotated your food, plus taken herbs. And the good thing about detoxing with the seasons is that once you detox, as soon as you're done, you're not going to just go back to your regular diet, right? So once the 3 months comes around, you might have gone more to your chips and your snacks and all that, but now it's time to detox again. So you can't go too far off if you're doing it with the seasons.
Yeah.
So,
and one thing that I experienced when I did cleanse, I stopped craving sweets.
yeah.
It was like it hit me, and it was random. My children's father, he would come and he'll give me like this. I don't know if you've seen those dark chocolate almond cups.
Yes.
And those used to be my things. And then I would eat them. Like, he give it to me, eat it. Then at some point after the cleanse, he'll bring me that same snack, and I'll take a bite of it, put it down. And then I eat it. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want it.
Yeah. Your body changes.
Yes.
Your body changes. And detoxing is not just food. It's very spiritual. Right? So the goal is to give your body a break from all of the toxins that are coming into us on a regular basis. And when I detox, I like to add food or at least some type of juice because I'm using food as medicine when I detox. And so it's giving your body a break from all the junk food. It's rebuilding anything that might be any type of damage or disease that might be trying to come up. It's rebuilding that. I forgot where I was going.
You'll come back.
What was I talking about? I don't know. But yeah, I was talking about detoxing and the importance. And
Yeah, it's okay. Y'all get the point. Detoxing is good. We need to detox.
I was saying it's spiritual. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
So detoxing is also spiritual. So the thing about it is that your cells, right, your body is very intelligent, right? You don't have to tell your body to breathe. It's already breathing. You don't have to tell your heart to beat. It's already beating. So it knows what to do, right? It already knows what to do. And a lot of times it's already telling you what you need. It's just, are you listening, right? So detoxing also allows you to clear your body out enough for you to listen to it, right? And it's going to tell you things that you had no idea was going on. And so it's spiritual. Like, honestly, when I did a detox, that started my divorce journey. I did a spring detox. That started my divorce journey because something came to me in that space of just being clear. And, my body was just like, something's not right. So detoxing beyond just physical, it's also a spiritual space, especially if you're doing your practices with it, like meditation, grounding, getting out in nature, that kind of stuff.
Yep, so. Reducing your social media usage.
Exactly, all of that.
And it's literally clearing you up and clearing up your mind to receive those messages.
Yes.
So when that message came to you about your divorce, what was the why? Because I always wonder what makes couples, marriages go through divorce. Because I did grow up in a family where my father married my stepmother, and I remember at some point they was going to have a divorce. They didn't proceed with it. I remember the divorce party and everything. Yeah. But they didn't go through with it, so I'm not really sure what happened at that time. Yeah. But for you personally, what was the determining factor on getting a divorce?
Well, one, we were together for 29 years. So that was a very long time. We got together very young, 18 and 19. But the overall reason why I chose to end my marriage was lack of trust. To me, trust is like a vase. You can drop it and break it, and it's in a few pieces. You can put it back together, but you can only drop it so many times before you just can't use the vase anymore. So for me, overall, it was about just lack of trust. But also, I didn't feel like I was being appreciated, respected, or valued, but realizing I wasn't appreciating, respecting, or valuing myself. I did not know how to have boundaries. I was last on my priority list. My husband was first, my youngest, then my oldest, then my mom. My mom had MS and she was living with us at that time. And then I was fifth on my list.
Yeah.
And so when I started to do my self-work, like I said, I was detoxing and that came to me. So constantly doing my self-work, trying to grow, trying to be a better person, I was just like, this is no longer working for me. It's no longer right for my spirit. My health started to be affected. And once my health started to be affected, that's when I was like, all right, even though I'm trying to stay, my body keeps telling me it's time to go.
Yeah.
So,
And you talked about trust.
yes.
Okay, give me an example of, because trust is a big thing. You have to trust the person you're with.
Yes.
And if you don't have trust, it can manifest in different forms,
Yes.
right? It can manifest in overwork, like you're worried all the time. You're on
Yeah.
edge. You're like, what you doing? Which
Yes.
can cause anxiety
Yes.
and all these other things. So
Yeah.
what was some of the ways mistrust manifested in your reality?
As far as,
Like, how did you show up with not being able to trust your partner?
I think everything you said, what are you doing? Looking through phones, not being able to be in a space of peace, right? You can't be in a space of peace if there's no trust. And then once, just a lot of arguing, because being in my masculine instead of my feminine, all of that. If you don't feel emotionally safe, it's hard if a woman doesn't feel emotionally safe, it's hard for her to be in her feminine, right? So just very controlling, not happy.
Yeah.
Not happy.
Do you think there's anything you needed at that time that could have repaired the trust?
At that point, I was hoping that counseling would help, but we only went for about a month and didn't continue. And so, I think I needed that. But yeah, we had been together so long and certain things had happened so much. I think that I was not able to grow the way that I needed to grow, being in a space of distrust.
Right.
Because when you're dealing with that instead of, can I deal with my other shit that I'm trying to do in my life? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm so focused on what you're doing and not doing and how you're doing it, I'm not focusing on myself.
Yeah.
So I had to, I just wasn't able to grow anymore in that space. And
then you mentioned, you start seeing symptoms or some type of effects that was happening with your body and with your, also with your mental, because I can only imagine, right, what's going in your mind.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing we don't talk about enough is we do talk about mental health.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about it from the aspect that this mind of ours just go, and it can create scenarios that's not true, but you feel like they are. So now you and your feelings like they true, and they really not. You know.
Yes.
So how did going through the mistrust and things like that started to affect you physically and mentally?
I started having anxiety attacks because we argued so much. It was so stressful. Especially towards the end, started having anxiety attacks.
And what do an anxiety attack look like?
For me, it was not being able to catch my breath. So hyperventilating, shaking, crying, just uncontrollably, So that was anxiety attacks.
And can I ask, what was one thing that maybe you realized in that moment that you needed? Did you start, what was something that will alleviate the hyperventilation or the panic attacks?
Breathing.
Yeah.
The breath, right? Breathing, removing myself from a stressful scenario. But it always came back to breathing, deep breathing and focusing on my breath. That is pretty much what would alleviate it. And just, I think my nervous system was just really shot at that point. So I was very hypersensitive to a lot of things. The breath.
Okay. Yeah. And the breath is so important.
It is.
It can literally calm us down.
Yes.
Like I have two daughters, so one of the things that I realized was going into the hospital for a checkup, you typically are nervous. You
Yeah.
hear the beeping machines,
Yeah,
the doctor coming in with the mask, and
Yeah.
and that can raise your blood pressure. But literally, if you breathe, it will lower your blood pressure.
Yeah.
So that's how important the breath is.
Yeah.
That it can affect whether you have high blood pressure or not.
And that's interesting that you say that. So when I got my divorce and I ultimately left, because, we were together so long, you're still dealing with that person back and forth and custody and all of that. So it's still very stressful. I had extreme health issues. So besides my anxiety, besides that, I lost 20 pounds from where I am now. And I'm, pretty thin already. So 20 pounds on me is very thin. I had stress-induced high blood pressure. I kept throwing up. I couldn't keep food down. I was constantly sick. And it was I was missing my periods. And so I just kept getting sick, and it was so bad. I finally went to the doctor to just get some tests. She ran some tests, and she told me that I was in stage 2 kidney disease and that my kidneys were filtering at 50%. And so once I seen that, I was like, all right, I'm not going to let this divorce put me in dialysis, because that's the road that I'm going. And what I realized is, even though I was eating healthy, and vegan, it was my emotional state, right, that was showing up physically in my body. And so I don't think that we realize how important that is, and that it will affect you physically. So because I was so sad and I was grieving, grief sits in your lungs, right? And so I was having congestion and coughs. I was extremely worried because I was leaving my family. I had to move. You don't know what's going to happen, the unknown. Worry sits in your stomach and your intestines. I couldn't keep food down. I was very fearful, fearful of what's next, fearful of what's going to happen to my kids, not being raised in a 2-parent household. Very fearful. That affects your kidneys. Fear affects your kidneys, which is why I was having kidney issues. Anger sits in your liver. Your nervous system is affected by stress, which was the anxiety attacks. And the high blood pressure was because I was so stressed. Stress affects, your veins and your arteries, and it constricts them, which causes high blood pressure. My heart was broke. I was sad. So all of these emotional things were showing up in my body on a physical plane. And so when I realized that, I was like, you know what? This is not going to put me in dialysis. I got to heal myself. I have to get control over my mind and my emotions and heal my body. And so I started that journey.
Yes.
So, yes.
And what was that first step?
That first step for me, I guess, was the awareness. Like, okay, your body is telling you some things going on. I got therapy. I had a spiritual advisor. I was always a meditator, but I definitely sat in my meditation space. I did a lot of affirmations, a lot of mirror work, nature immersion, just laying on the ground, in the grass, getting sun, going to the ocean, music and dance therapy, color therapy. There was a phase where I only wore white. There was a phase where I only wore yellow, only wore orange, just different chakra color there, just to be in a space of reflecting where I wanted to be, what I wanted to heal. What else? So much so that gratitude. I started gratitude journaling. So, and I continue to do that every single morning. First thing I do when I wake up is write down 3 things I'm grateful for. And they have to be specific things. They cannot be just the sun or my kids. That stuff was regular. It's like, okay, if it's my kids, I'm grateful we went for a walk yesterday. I'm grateful somebody helped me out yesterday. So 3 things that you're specific things that you're grateful for. And why is that? Because it keeps you in a space of looking for things to be grateful for throughout the day, because you're going to have to write it in your journal the next morning. So it keeps you in a space of looking for things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
So much so that I actually wrote a guide, a 7-day guide to tap in, tune up, and take charge of your mind, body, and spirit. And that guide is free on my website, and I introduce 7 different holistic practices that you can add to your life that add to your overall health and well-being. We have an intro day, which is we go through what I call the wellness wheel. And that just is kind of a way for you to see where you're at in your life on a holistic space. And then throughout the 7 days, you're going to use these tools to kind of have some goals for where you are. So Monday is Monday morning mantras. We do mantras and affirmations. Tuesdays is Tap In Tuesdays, and that's when we're tapping into things that I call medicine. So nature as medicine, music and dance as medicine, and then creative medicine. Wednesdays is Drink Water Wednesdays, where you will drink half your body weight in ounces of water per day. And so what does that mean? Say if you weigh 150 pounds, half your body weight is 75 pounds. So that's 75 ounces of water a day. Thursday is Thankful Thursdays, and we talk about gratitude, journaling. Friday is Fit Friday. I have a 5-minute full body workout. Saturday is Soup and Salad Saturday. We talk about food and how that's healing. And then Sunday is Self-Care Sunday and different self-care practices that you can do. So that's kind of my journey of how I started to heal myself. And I kind of put it in a free thing for people also.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And one thing I must add to that list that people can utilize during their journey of, mindfulness is puzzles.
Yes.
Get a puzzle.
Okay.
Put together a puzzle. It's one of the best things you can do.
Yeah.
It really allows you to focus in, first of all. So you forget about the phone, you forget about things because you're now focused on, I want to put this puzzle together.
Yeah.
And then as you're doing the puzzle, you realize that you can take some life lessons out of it. You have this one piece of the puzzle that you feel like it fits. It fits so good, but it's a little off, but it fits really, really good.
Yeah.
But you still squeeze it there. You go put it there because you know this is the one, right? So you continue to do the rest of the puzzle. And by the time you get to the end of that section of the puzzle, you realize, wait, one of these things are off. Right. So you go back to that same puzzle piece that you squeezed there and you replace it with the correct piece and you see how perfectly it fits in that space. And it taught me that you can't squeeze things into place that don't supposed to be there. No matter how good you think it fit, you cannot do that.
Yes.
Yes. But you need to go through that journey of, I keep trying to force the piece there that's not there. And I think that's the beautiful part about us being humans is we make mistakes. Yeah. And the goal is to learn from it and to do better next time. Yeah. And even if you do the same thing again, that's okay. Just keep trying. Yeah. Don't give up is really the goal. Yeah. So have you ever felt like you wanted to give up?
In many things. In many things. Yes. You could say I gave up on my marriage. I was tired of it. It just was no longer serving me. So I don't know if I can say I gave up or that my spirit just said, this is enough. Yeah. Because I didn't want to give up. I tried. My absolute hardest. I'm currently training for a weightlifting competition and I want to give up every day. It's so hard. It's so hard. But my goal of it was to do it before my 50th birthday. I'll be 50 in a couple months. And so that is what's keeping me going. My goal is 50 and fine. I'm trying to be 50 and fine. And so that is what's keeping me motivated to just keep going. And my competition is in August. So it's in a couple months.
Yes. Oh, so when your birthday?
September.
September, Virgo?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I'm a Virgo too. Shout out to us. I like us.
September 8th.
Yes, I'm August 26th.
Okay, yeah.
But doing a competition is not easy.
No.
It takes a lot of discipline. Yes. It takes a lot of strategy. And it takes a lot of not giving up.
Yes, it does.
But you get the result of the perfect body.
Yeah.
And I would love to challenge myself one day to do like a bikini bodybuilding competition just so I can have the perfect body. And I enjoy going through things that make me better. Yeah. So knowing that it's going to be hard makes me want to do it just to see how tough I am.
Exactly. So around big birthdays, I try to do something that's going to push me out of my comfort zone. So on my road to 45, I ran a 5K. I don't like running. I never liked running. But I forced myself to train to do a 5K and run the whole thing. So I did that for my 45th. I'm doing this for my 50th. So I can, one, remember, right? Two, push myself out of my comfort zone to, I don't know, for me, it just helps my self-esteem to be like, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't want to do it and it was really hard, but I did it. You know, so that's a goal of mine. And I'm going to continue to do that throughout my life. Always push myself out of my comfort zone to do something that I don't want to do, or even if I do want to do it, it's hard.
Right.
And so that's what this competition is. It's so hard. It's the food, it's the working out. We have posing practice. You have to sleep. I'm up to a gallon of water a day because I'm taking in so much protein. You know, it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
It is definitely a lifestyle, and it's very difficult. And I'm a vegan.
Right.
Also, on top of that, you know, so they're like, you can't gain muscle as a vegan. I'm like, yes, you can.
Right.
You know, so that too. And even just that part, like, I don't take protein powder, but I have to take it for this. You know, I'm not a big supplement person. You know, I get my nutrients from my food. Supplements for me is like seaweed.
Right.
You know, but I got to take vitamins. I got to take protein powder and creatine and, you know, these different things that I don't usually take. So it's definitely pushing me out of my comfort zone in that way as well. But this is part of the process. So it is what it is. Yeah.
And that's one thing I definitely wanted to talk about is the idea of vegans and protein and muscle.
Yeah.
Because there was a guy that I know that he was personal training. He was vegan. I think he was vegan for maybe 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
But his study with himself was, I can't gain muscle while being vegan. And so he went and started eating animals again. And he showed his before and after picture of like him being plant-based to him being a meat eater again. And you see more definition and more muscle. But then when I really sat and thought about it, I'm like, as a meat eater, you're probably eating meat with every meal. So you are intaking a lot more protein.
Yeah.
Versus as a vegan, when I realistically just sat back and thought about my diet and what I eat during the day, it's like I am not consuming enough protein, realistically.
Yeah.
Now, I have incorporated some things into my life to increase my protein intake, like making my own nut and seed milk, where I do like Brazil nuts, walnuts, cashews, dates, vanilla abstract, et cetera, which end up getting me 25 grams of protein just in my 32-ounce jar.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the thing we get all the time, vegans not having enough protein, is because we're really not eating enough protein.
Yeah, you have to know what you're doing. Right. So that's the thing. People become vegan and they don't do any research. And then you also have to see what works best for your body at the same time. For me, my protein, I'm getting it from, they have a new tofu called soy-free tofu. It's made from fava beans. And I eat soy. I know some people don't. I'm not an anti-soy person. If you look at the blue zones, it's people who eat soy that are living to 100 and plus years old. So I eat soy. I eat organic soy, sprouted if possible. I don't do it during my competition because it has too much fat. So I'm in a very low fat, low carb, high protein. So I use only the soy-free tofu, which is made from fava beans. I'll use pumpkin seeds, mushrooms. So oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms have protein. What else am I using? Teff injera. So injera, which is the Ethiopian bread, that is a complete protein. But it's very low in carb and no fat. So that's why I use that as my bread. Really, that's the only grain I'm eating right now. I'm not even doing quinoa. I'm only doing teff. And then I do my protein powder. So that's where I'm getting mine from for this specific competition. But, you know, you can get beans, nuts and seeds. Oh, and peanut butter. I eat peanut butter.
Yeah.
The beans, nuts and seeds, quinoa, millet, amaranth, everything I just said, soy, seitan, if you eat seitan. And I was doing seitan, which is just wheat gluten, but it was making me very bloated. So I stopped doing that. But that's a very high amount of protein, and people who are vegan and bodybuilding, they eat it a lot, but it was just making me bloated.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I am doing some soy, like I'll do like veggie bacon, but that's pretty much it right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think you beat the myth.
Yes. And then even just because I have to write down my calories and my nutrients every single day I use this app, I'm seeing the amount of protein and fat that's in vegetables, so everything has protein in it.
Yeah.
It's just
how much.
Exactly. It's just the amount. So you can definitely get your protein as a vegan. There are vegan bodybuilders who have way more muscle than I do, and been doing it forever. You know what I'm saying? It's just you have to know what you're doing. Even for me, it took me a little bit because I don't allow my trainer to do my nutrition. I do my own nutrition because I'm a nutritionist and I know what I want to eat. But it took me a minute to get my formula together to be within the macronutrient range that I have to be in for this competition. So.
Well, before we get out of here,
Yes,
I ask every guest one last question. What is one piece of advice you would like to share to the world?
One piece of advice I would like to share. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. I recently did a post to Black men because someone that I know, my age, we're young. Like I'll be 50 and we're around the same age. He just had a heart attack. Someone else I knew just passed away. Black men, we have to start taking care of ourselves, right? And Black people in general, but men in specific. Stop smoking blunts, hookah, cigars, drinking alcohol, junk food, fast food. Eat better. Drink your water. Green vegetables on a daily basis, your wheatgrass, your sea moss. Exercise, meditate, find ways to relieve stress, and ask for help. That's what I would say. Please take care of yourself.
Yes, that was beautiful. And when you said sea moss, it's like, ding dong. You got one more gift. I got a gift for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm out and I need some. So if it's sea moss, I am happy.
So, boom, here's your spoon. So we're going to try it on the podcast. This
Okay,
is what we call our health break, okay? And I have I manufacture health food products.
Okay.
And sea moss is one of my top selling products. And this is actually the number one top selling sea moss gel. It's a soursop, ginger, turmeric, and cinnamon.
Nice.
It's really good for inflammation. So if you're someone out there that deals with joint pain, muscle pain, headaches, anything dealing with inflammation, acne on the skin, take this soursop, ginger, turmeric, sea moss gel. Okay? So boom.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to you to try. And then you're going to give me your honest review.
Okay.
It's sealed on there, so that's a good thing,
That
ladies
is a
and
good thing.
gentlemen. There we go. I'm excited for you to try it.
It's good.
Is it really good, or you're just telling?
No,
the
it's
people
good.
that?
So I take sea moss, and I don't even have mine flavored. So
Yeah.
and I've tried other people's sea moss that's pre-flavored. This is good. It doesn't have the sea moss aftertaste. It's not sweet. I don't taste too much sweet. Sometimes it's either too sweet or it just tastes like sea moss. Yes, exactly. There's a cinnamon aftertaste. The turmeric is not too strong.
Do you get the kick of ginger at all? That spicy?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I'm tasting
Good.
mostly cinnamon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
Perfect.
It's good. Thank you, man.
Yes.
And I need some because I just ran out. So
Perfect timing is what we call that.
yes.
So thank you so much for coming on to Wholistic Conversations. And I'm so thankful to have you on. And I'm excited for you to win that competition. I'm just going to keep saying that because you're going to win, right?
you.
And
Yes.
happy early birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Got to put that out there.
Thank
you know,
you.
you said 50 and fine. You already
50 and
fine. So
Thank
you
you.
just turning 50.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. So thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Wholistic Conversations. I'm your host, Brittany. And if you took anything away from today's episode, drop it in the comments. Let us know what you think and let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on mostly Instagram, but all social media under my name, Afya Ibomu. So AFYA. Then I'll come up. Or you can hit me up on my website, homeechooney.com. So like home economics, homeechooney.com.
Yes. So make sure y'all go get the cleanse. We need to be cleansing. Remember this. Okay. All right. Catch you all on the next episode. Peace out.